Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Bitcoin and projecting out the 20-week moving average. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Remember, the price on the premium list is going to go up in a few days, so if you want to lock in the lower rate and figure out how I'm navigating these markets, as well as get access to weekly reports and videos, the Telegram alerts channel, the Telegram chat room, the risk dashboard, trading view indicators, and more, make sure you guys check it out into thecryptoverse.com. Let's go ahead and jump in. So we've talked about the 20-week SMA for a long time and how useful it is in identifying if say a bull market can move on, right? And if we actually go look at our bull market square line, it's this red line, and this is where Bitcoin was able to hold the line. And what happened after we said, if Bitcoin holds the line, what happens? We typically have clear skies ahead. Now, that doesn't mean we can't have pullbacks along the way. I'm sure we will. But you've seen how quickly Bitcoin has moved from 40,000 to almost 58,000 in a relatively short period of time. And we're talking a couple of weeks here, almost a $20,000 move by Bitcoin. So you see the implications of holding the line. Well, it had me wondered, well, why don't we project out what the 20-week SMA will be? Okay, so we can do that. And if we go over to the weekly time frame, what we can do is we have this little forecast here. Now, this one shows what the 20-week moving average will be doing if the price stays constant. Okay, so it just shows, okay, if the price were to remain constant, which it won't, of course, but if it were to remain constant, this is what the 20-week moving average would do. And that way, you would want to make sure you hold the line in the future in the event that, Bitcoin sort of just goes sideways for a while, which again, it probably wouldn't. And then maybe if it falls into the 20-week at any of these phases, it kind of gives you an idea of where Bitcoin would ideally like to hold the line. But furthermore, there's a little bit more functionality to this as well. We also have the ability to say, well, what if it goes up or down a certain amount on average every single week? So what we can do is we can click this button to use the up and down forecast, all right? And this now just shows the Bitcoin price is constant, okay? So it's going up 0% each week. But what if we change that to 1%? Now here, the yellow line shows the Bitcoin price increasing on average 1% per week. And then the yellow line that comes out of the 20-week moving average is what the 20-week SMA would be if, in fact, Bitcoin were to follow the yellow line and go up 1% each week. But it's a plus or minus feature. So it also shows you what would happen if Bitcoin goes down 1% on average each week. And in that scenario, the 20-week moving average would actually still continue moving up for a while, but then it would start to fold over eventually. Now, you can play with this, of course, and go to, say, 3% per week and see what that looks like. And you can see that if Bitcoin were to increase on average, say 3% a week and reach new all-time highs within a few weeks, then the 20-week moving average is going to start to move up relatively quickly. And then the 20-week moving average could be reaching $50,000 within a month or something. Okay, and I mean, of course, you can get crazy with this if you want. And go all the way up to, say, 10% a week, which I mean isn't really that crazy considering we've seen that type of price action before. We've seen the 20-week moving average go up quickly before. Note that it wasn't as steep as this because there were some red candles sprinkled in here and there, which sort of keeps the 20-week moving average from getting too steep of a slope. But you just get an idea of what it looks like. Now, for some visualization, you can see these tip labels. So this would show increasing by 10% a week. This is decreasing, down projection, up projection, and then a constant price projection for the 20-week SMA. This is a new trading view indicator. This is for members of the premium list into thecryptoverse.com. But I think it is a useful feature, and we're going to be adding it to the premium list here in either today or tomorrow, I believe. So with that said, let's go back to the bull market support band and see where it is. So again, the 20-week SMA is at around 43K. The 21-week EMA is at 46K. We have tons of wiggle room right now. And really what we should be more focused on, I think, is the 8-week. Okay, because we're above the 8-week. The 8-week is just below $50,000. So in the event of a dump, we have the 8-week that might act as support and could prevent us from going back down to the bull market support band. I mean, furthermore, I mean, we might just stay above the 8-week for a while as well, and then eventually dump back down to it like we did over here in the last leg multiple times. But the point is to say that there is a little bit of support between here and the bull market support band. The 8-week moving average, I do believe, is an important area to watch. And right now, it's actually just below a very modest $50,000. So if that happens, if we go back down to the 8-week moving average, keep in mind that that could provide some support. And I mean, you know, we had a long test of 29.30K. We had a test of 39.40K. If we end up having a test of 49 to 50K, so be it, right? So be it. But it's my opinion that Bitcoin looks a lot more bullish than bearish. After all, we had a golden cross, we were above the 20-week, and we held the line. So typically you have these clear skies ahead with some shakeouts along the way. So that's the key thing, I think, that some people might forget. They might think like, oh, well, you know, if Bitcoin goes down any given week, then that means all bets are off. No, that's actually expected. And honestly speaking, having pullbacks along the way is actually quite healthy, okay? Because it keeps the price from going too parabolic too quickly. And then it becomes really stressful if it's going very, you know, extremely parabolic, because then everyone's, you know, having to deal with greed and whatnot. And I mean, ideally, the best case scenario for me, for Bitcoin, is just it slowly goes up forever, right? It's just like, you know, 5% a week forever would be ideal, because then you just sort of slowly see your portfolio grow. I mean, of course, that's not going to happen, but that would be, for me, that would be like an ideal world, that it just slowly goes up. That way we don't have to necessarily contend with 80% pullbacks. But unfortunately, that's just not how the market works. We will have these, you know, 50, 60, 70% pullbacks and whatnot at various stages of the cycle. We already saw this 55% pullback over here. But so far, you know, we had 11.5% weekly move, 13.5% so far. This is a 4.5%. If we close the week up, you know, let's say 12%, which is an average of the prior two, then we could close the week at around, you know, 62K or something. All right. So Bitcoin looks pretty good. I would say, you know, in the event of a pullback, watch out for the 8-week. Maybe that'll help hold the line rather than this going back to the bull market support band. And if we continue higher and get into some of these ranges up here that we've been watching, then I would go into it with the expectation that there's going to be resistance on the way up, and be pleasantly surprised if we break through on the first attempt. Okay, so be pleasantly surprised if this happens, but expect something, you know, more like this, right? And then maybe we break through it later on. Or, I mean, it doesn't have to be that long later. It could just be we kind of go up and we get rejected quickly, and then we just kind of continue along the way. So best case scenario is we just go through it like butter. But, you know, a potential more realistic scenario is to bounce off of it a couple times before actually breaking through. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. We also do have the premium list, intothecryptoverse.com. Prices are going up in a few days, so make sure you sign up, lock in the lower rate. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.